So we're comparing Walbro WT194 and the Chinese replacement version. I've compared I've compared the Zama Z1C1Q, I think it is, OEM versus the replacement version of it, and that one didn't look very good at all. So that's what we're going to do in this one. And other than that, go check out Chainsaw Addicts. Also get your Butler Outdoors merch. It's got t-shirts, koozies, all sorts of other things. So also go check out Butler Outdoors. Anyways, let's get this video rolling and get some samples and ideas and just illustrate some stuff. Alright, so we got the Walbro WT194, and we got this one brand called Yafmu. It's a Chinese version of that carburetor. So let's take them apart and let's see. So right out of the gate, what do we got here? They're very similar. Your impulses are a little bit different. The Walbros are barbed rather than being flat like that. Barbed is definitely a better idea. Your idle or your throttle arm position screws. Your adjustable jets, low, high, protruding out. I don't know if they're set maybe different. It's not a bad looking copy. The fuel line pickup is also barbed, which is nice. The orifices, they look close to the same in size, so that's good. Now, let's measure. I'm gonna write this stuff down here. Let's find a clean page. There we go. I don't know if the notepad's showing up there on camera or not, but so let's go Walbro. The Yafmu. So we'll measure the inlets. Oops, let's put that over here. Inlet. Outlet. I'm just calling it inlet for your filter side in comparison to the going to your intake loop. So let's see. We'll zero the caliper out. So I'm going to measure the widest point in the opening to start with, and then into the bore. We'll measure that after. Hope this is showing up okay. I'm actually doing this upstairs instead of that. Like normally I do this in the basement, but we're just doing it up here because kiddo's not feeling good today. So I just want to stay close and so I can hear her and whatnot. Okay, that works. So the Walbro is 0.739 inches. Let's go right into the bore here next. One sec. Yes, darling? 0.525. Hang on a second. So interesting facts. Walbro, the Chinese Yofumu, or whatever you want to call it. It's hard to see it. There's actually quite a bit of a gap around the butterfly there. And then whereas the Walbro, if it'll focus, there we go, seals up a lot nicer. the walbro also has, if you see the gap in the in the butterfly right there, whereas this one looks like it's smaller on, it's kind of hard to tell, but it kind of looks smaller on the Chinese one. And it's kind of interesting what they do. So the walbro, oh, actually the walbro has two of them. I didn't notice that until the light hits it right. So both carbs do it. You see, in line with the screw, there's like a little hole in the carburetor there. They both have it. It just spits out fuel at idle. But it's interesting that this carb has only one spot up there on this Chinese one, and the OEM has the two open little spots on the butterfly. So moving on. Now, let's see if I can open this and show you guys. You can see the machine finish. Closer to the butterfly, it's a little smoother. Back here it's a little more rough, whereas on the Chinese one, it's polar opposite. So it's nice and rough here, but you can tell like when they cut it on a mill, you can see the finish is actually smooth all the way through. So that's a negative for the Chinese. The gap, like I said, the gap in here between your butterfly and or the carb, also a negative. Doesn't seal up as nice, but you know what? I'm sure it would work in theory. You can kind of see the light better on this one. So when you turn your idle right out, there's still a fair bit of light coming through, which that's also going to be pulling in air and fuel. Now, will it move the same volume as the walbro? Who knows? But I'd have a little less faith in this Chinese one. So the measurements on the widest part here on both, the walbro is 0.739 inches. The Chinese carb was 0.730 inside the bore. The walbro was 0.525. This Yufmu, or however you pronounce it, is 0.526. So not much difference. Now, the part that goes to your intake, the walbro is 0.617. This carb here is 0.612. So they're all in all pretty close. Throttle shafts, I just measured those nubs at the widest point closest to the bore of the carburetor, and the walbro was 0.182, and this one was 0.181. So they're pretty darn close. Let's pull these needles out. Pull these needles out and let's compare them. So we just dismantled them. Chinese, walbro. Everything appears to be the same. I don't know what that hole is here on the Chinese one. Not too sure. Now you flip it around, you see your filter screen there. That's the way it was when I pulled it apart. But all in all, everything looks very similar. I don't have a way at the moment to measure the orifices. I have steel rods kicking around, different various sizes, but I'm not sure where they are at the top of my head. But they do look similar, like all in all similar anyways. The needles definitely you can't use one and the other. The threads look different. The length of the needle looks different. Unfortunately, I don't have a flashlight with me up here to look inside of there. Give me a sec. Let's see if I can turn the light on here. Let's see. There you go. Let's see if that helps. I'll pull this off camera a little bit so you can see. I'm looking to see if I can. Yeah, if I had a flashlight, this would make life a little easier. They look like this one looks like it's this Chinese one looks like it's tapered. I had a Zama where it was just flat in there. You couldn't tell. Yeah, that looks like it's tapered all the way down for the needle and seat. Again, walbro. That Yofomo or whatever. I don't know who makes them. If HIPAA and all them are associated, I have no idea. So when I was checking Zamas, the all the freaking orifices were actually different sizes, which to me just I knew that carb didn't run right. I knew that from the get-go because it was when I pulled off the chainsaw and replaced. Now where the brass plugs are there, they are different, complete different sizes. The walbro one looks substantially less restrictive compared to this Chinese one. Is it going to make a difference? I'm not sure. I would have to assume it would, based off how much more restrictive it looks. So I should actually slap that carb on to one of the saws and test it out and see what happens. And just see, does it hold a tune? How does it tune? So let's get into these Chinese versus the walbro ones. Needles and seats. Let's see. Oops. That works. Okay. Let's see. Hopefully this shows up. Just too much. There we go. You can see the different lengths. Oops. Focus. So those are not cross compatible. The threads are also different. If you, in the event if you had to switch, if you're in a pinch and want to reuse some Chinese ones that you had, in this case they definitely do not mix. But what I do like about these Chinese needles, adjustable needles, are the slot for the flathead. They're a lot more deeper. Don't look like much, but it makes the world of difference. So I think that's going to be it for testing these things. Like I say, I can go a little more in depth, but I mean, people that have ran these Chinese ones know in general they most of the time fail or are just lousy. So just some quick differences between the two. I mean, there'll be a lot. I can probably get substantially more in depth in this, but just everything I'm already seeing on this one, not a fan. I've had a couple Zamas, and only one worked out of the 3 that I have tested. This is the 4th Chinese carb, and you know, like I say, I might throw it on a saw just for giggles, see what happens. But all in all, I'm not a fan of it. Not if you have access to using OEM anyways. So anyways, I think that's going to conclude this short comparison video of these 2 carbs. And yeah, I wish I had the Zamas still, but I'm pretty sure I threw them out to do a comparison on those. But yeah, anyways, that is it, I believe, for the day. I'm just going to make quick, simple, something short. Anyways, talk to you guys later.